Hi there, my name's Vince from mymatevince.com, and in this video today it's going to be something really interesting. So you know I like to mix things up a little bit. I like to do various different things on this channel from all different eras, be it 50s, 70s, 80s or even modern stuff. So I thought that this could make a really interesting one. So from eBay I have bought a faulty metal detector. Look at that there. I think this is going to make for an interesting video. I hope I can get it working, and then maybe we can go out and see if we can uncover anything at the end of the video. So let's get it over to the blue mat. I'll show you the listing on eBay and then we'll take it apart and we'll see if we can fix it. So this is the eBay listing here. It was on an auction, so I was the only bidder for it. Says a lot. I paid £10 for it plus £8 postage, so £18 in total. And it says here Zennox GC1006 metal detector. Let me just show you what it says in the actual write-up. So it says here, not working for spares or repair, has had leaky battery inside, and the circuit board is damaged. That's the bit that interests me. Some connections have been lost. So let's open this up and see what's inside. Now, I do not know anything about metal detectors, but I do like the idea about finding a nugget of gold and retiring early. So it does ferrous and non-ferrous. So I believe ferrous is going to be magnetic, things like iron, and non-ferrous is going to be things like silver, gold, copper, aluminium, that sort of stuff. So non-magnetic. Right, if you have a look in the back here, you will see that this is the one here, I think, that had the leak. Yeah, you can see that it's been cleaned up, but there's still evidence of green around there. So it takes one 9-volt battery there and two 9-volt batteries here. Also, it looks like there's a little bit of corrosion here, but the actual terminals themselves are okay. They would be conducting. So let's open it up and see what this damage is. Now, while I'm trying to get into this, there's a screw here, a screw here. I can also see two screws on the top here. So I'm going to undo them all and see if it starts to come apart. We're going to give a shout out to the best group in the world, which is the My Mate Vince Massive. This month, it's got a lot of members now. It's doing amazing. We've got Saturnine Cinema, Operational 117, KitDigital.com, Kip Hakes, Max Rokotansky, Having Fun Repairs, Ellensburg Amplifier Repair and Service, Will Michaelis, Stephen Kilgore, Chris Seal, and the My Mate Vince fan club. That's right, the My Mate Vince fan club has been put on to the My Mate Vince Massive and not by me. Now, isn't that something? So massive thanks to all the Patreons, massive thanks to the My Mate Vince Massive, massive thanks to everybody that gives all the advice down in the comments below, which helps me fix things, and then not just me, but other people as well. It's pretty amazing if you think about it. So when like one person helps out me, that could then go on to help out quite a few other people, not just now, but also in years to come. It's pretty amazing really, isn't it? Right, let's see now. Is this going to, does this come out here? Okay, so that's another little part out of it. Hold on, looks a bit, do you know what? Maybe, could it be water damaged rather than, I think it's unlikely. I was going to say, could it be water damaged rather than leaking batteries? But look, the corrosion is round here, so. Oh, there's all, let me get a tissue, there's all, and it smells as well. There's all stuff down there. Look. It smells of grease. Okay, I'm not quite as hopeful now as I was before. I don't know how much this has been messed around with. Now it's going to come apart. Okay, right, straight away I can see that a wire's broken here against the battery terminals there. Okay, so you can see that that wire is completely broken from here. This control here, volume control, is all rusted. You know, I'm not convinced that this is just battery damage. Yeah, and can you see the board up here as well? But look, it did say that there was trace damage on it, so that's all fair enough. Right, I think I am going to have to unsolder some wires. So now I'm undoing the volume knob, the microphone jack, and also unsoldering the wires. And because some of them are the same colours, I'm just putting little labels on so I know to which battery compartment they go to. Right, we are now free from that bit there. Right, so I suppose first things first, let's see if the button's working. I presume there's two wires coming out. It looks like the two white wires go to here, so when I press this button we should have continuity here. So let's go on this one here and this one here. Yay! Now let's see if we can get this board out further so we can have a nice close look at it. Right, so now I have to undo each of these nuts, don't I? There we go. What the? Look at all the wax. Why has there been... I think that's the smell I can smell. Hold on. No, maybe not, it's just my fingers. Why would there be a massive lump of wax just on that part of the board? How bizarre. Anyway, oh god, look at the green on this chip here. So we got all green up on here. And yeah, here as well. L, so this might be a little inductor. Right, what else is there? How's the rest of it look? Kind of looks okay that side, doesn't it? Don't know why that's covered in wax. It definitely feels like wax. Well, you know, it could be a lot worse, couldn't it? 3-position switch. All this, we've definitely got a problem with stuff here though. Well, I think we won't worry about this sort of stuff just yet. Let's worry about the board and then we can worry about other stuff. Yeah, slightly worse than what I initially thought, but that's just my own problem. That's just my thoughts. Right, let's go to ohms and let's see if this speaker is still reading something. No, I don't think it is. No, I don't think that speaker's working. Normally you would see like 4 ohms or 8 ohms or something. Yeah, I'm not overly hopeful at this moment in time. I think there might be too much to fix. But I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's clean all this up with IPA because we know where the damage is. It's pretty much everywhere, but concentrated here and here. So I'm using 99.9% isopropyl alcohol. So even the very outer tracks there have loads of black bits on them. So it could be the case that nearly every circuit on the trace on the board has gone. I'm thinking this might be salt damage, you know, and maybe they didn't take out the batteries afterwards. It's been found in a garage or shed somewhere, and as in seawater damage. I just don't think, I'm not sure if a leaking 9-volt battery could cause this much damage everywhere. The good thing is though, it is a single layer board and it's all through hole components, so it could be a lot worse. At least it's possible to see where the traces go to. And it's easy to see where they go as well. Well, I've just given that an initial clean. It doesn't really look much better. But let's zoom in. You can hear the meter beeping. So every time the wires touch together, it's going to beep. So now let's start testing a few of the traces. See, unbelievably, that doesn't even get there. So it must be gone just here. Yeah, it's gone there, isn't it? Right, so I presume this here is all gone. Yep. Yeah, that's gone from there, so that's gone there. This has gone here, obviously. Now, let's see something which might not look gone. Let's see if it is. So this here again is gone, hasn't it? Yeah, that's gone there. This has also gone here. That goes round to this one. That's gone. These have all gone. But let's see now. So this one should be okay because it's a massive one. What? Even that's gone. How can that have gone? Hey, look, that goes in there. It's indentate. That's completely... I think that's completely gone. But then what about this one? No, you can still see copper there. Wow, this really, really, really has corroded then. I don't think there's any copper left there at all. Oh, there is. Now, it's one of those things where, how far do you go to repair it? For example, do I rewire every single little thing on here? That would take a long time. But look here, they're all gone. Now, most people would say, obviously, this is beyond repair. Hopefully, everything over here is going to be okay. This sort of area, that all looks intact. So I need to be concentrating on everything that's dark. So basically, from here, it looks like I need to be doing pretty much that. Those 2/3 of the board there. You never know, I might be lucky and I might end up actually finding something to cover my time. Right, let's get going. So what I'm going to be using is, on the thicker traces, the ones that look like they might be more power related, I'm going to use some wire. This is just from LED Christmas lights. I've just got loads of this wire. But when it comes to the smaller ones that are going to be more like data, then I'm just going to use some enamelled wire. Now the good thing about the enamelled wire is it is actually insulated. It doesn't look like it is, but it's got enamel on it. So even if the two wires are touching against each other, they're not going to short out. Okay, so I think I'm going to stop filming for a bit now. You can see roughly what I'm doing anyway. So on the bigger ones here, so this is where the main ground is, isn't it? Then I'm going to be running the thicker wires, and you can see instead of running it around here, which is the root of the original one, I've just gone straight through here. And on this one here, that goes through the board onto the inductor across here. So I took that out, cleaned it up, resoldered it in. This is where the two black wires will go. You can see a little bit of enamelled wire here and a little bit of enamelled wire there. So now if I get my meter, this is now in contact with here. I haven't gone any further, but if you have a look at this one here, it's not cleaned up yet obviously, but now that's in contact there and there as well. And this one is in contact here, here and here. It's going to take a long, long time, but hopefully it will be worth it afterwards. So next time you see this, it will look a complete bird's nest of wires, but I'm hoping all the traces will be done. So not only do I have to replace 3.2 million traces, I also have to then take apart the switch, because I realise none of the switch has any continuity between the different legs. Again, because guess what? It's full of corrosion. And I have a closer look at the speaker, because the speaker should be getting a reading because it's a coil of wire. And as you've seen earlier, it's not getting a reading. It's just, well, it's not open, but it's in the meg ohms. And then when I take this apart, I notice that one of the wires is broken. I give it a quick attempt to try and fix it, but I don't get anywhere with it because the wire's broken well into the actual cone part of the speaker, the bit that moves up and down. So it's never going to be a good repair, even if I can solder on something which is about 1/20th the size of a human hair. So I'm just going to put in another speaker. It's the wrong size for it. It's a bit small, so it's not going to have the same volume, but at least it will emit some sort of sound and it's not corroded. So what I thought would take an hour and a half ended up taking 4.5 hours, which is the general rule in life. You think something will take something and then it will take 3 times longer. So I have done countless traces across here now. Let's just zoom in just to show you the wired mess. So you can see all that section there and all down here as well and all up here. So now I've gone through, well, I think I've gone through the majority of it. I haven't done all the ones down here because the few that I did looked to be okay. So I'm hopeful now that most of them will have some kind of continuity. Remember, the speaker wasn't working? Well, look at the corrosion in the speaker as well. This whole thing is basically just ruined. So I've put this speaker in for a moment. This particular speaker is a 16 ohm and the one I've put in is a 15 ohm. Good news is the variable resistor down here does appear to be working. When I go from the middle pin onto one, I get a range of movement, and from the middle pin to the other one, I get similar movements but the other way round. Right, so that's it all wired up. Now I've watched a quick YouTube video. When it's on this side here, it should test battery 1. Then when you put it in the middle, it should test the other bank of batteries, and that should be to operate. And this is the main switch here. So when we turn it on here and we go to this one, this should light up and we should have this needle go over to the battery side here. And that will indicate that the batteries are good. Now unfortunately, this looks like a very cheap metal detector. It's not expensive even when it was new, so I think it's a very basic one. I don't think it's supposed to work very well, but it still would be nice to get it working. Right, here goes. Let's turn it on. Right, okay, no lights come on and the needle hasn't moved across. Let's go to that one. No, and let's go to that one. No, it's not doing anything. It's completely and utterly dead. Let's see if we're getting voltage going into it. So we've got the negative here and the positive here. So let's go on here and here. We've got 9.5 volts. Okay, so we've got voltage there and 18.2 volts there. So we've definitely got voltage going into the board. Right, we know the switch here is working because I've done a continuity test on it. Let's turn it all off and let's start looking at this switch here because maybe this isn't turning it on. It's kind of hard to make out what's going on in the middle, but there's definitely bits of continuity between here and here, but I don't really know if this switch is properly working. But when I touch the top one there, when I go to on, then it is traveling through to this one here where I've run the wire between there. And this big bank here seems to be the ground. So I don't know, but I don't think that's the problem at the moment. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the batteries in and I'm going to, well, first of all, actually, let's see if these LEDs are actually working or not, because for all I know, this could be faulty and the LEDs could be faulty. So let's put the tester to diode test and let's have a look here. Right, nothing there. Okay, we've got a light there. So 100% that LED works. Even the LEDs are rusty. Yeah, that's coming on there. I don't know if you probably can't make that out in the camera. There you go, you can just see it glowing a tiny bit. So the green LED is working. Just got my bench power supply here and I've just got it set to 0.1 volts. So 1/10 of a volt. And look, if I go this side, you can see it goes that way. And if I swap the leads around, it goes the other way. So I think the thing is working. The weird thing is that this is only 0.1 of a volt. And yet, if you look here, across the pins here, I'm measuring 1 volt. So why is that not making the needle move? Unless, of course, there's rust in here, which might be causing it, which could be. So it's about this stage in the video where I start thinking that maybe this metal detector will never detect metal again. Maybe it will never find my nugget of gold. Maybe I'll have to work until I'm 80 something because I haven't got a pension. But I kept going. Hours and hours went by. I was going through every single trace that I did, checking for continuity. I even started to take out transistors and check them, make sure they were okay, and the diodes and every other component that I could easily test. I found a couple of traces that I should have done that I didn't do. I think maybe as I was working on this, more traces might have been breaking with me probing around the place. I also found a trace that I run, which I actually did to the wrong place because I had that many to do, and I was actually grounding out part of the circuit. So I did all that, and then I thought, yes, this is definitely going to work. I got the battery side of it to work, but I still couldn't get the metal detector side to work. And I thought, well, really, it's probably going to be game over now. But I was checking the chips, and I noticed that we know that the big lump of wax is covering at least 1 or 2 chips. What else is it covering? So, where we're picking up the video now is weird, because I did so much work on this and it still wasn't working. And yet, then I removed the wax. And now we see this part of the video. Somehow, it is now working. I don't know if I've ever used this word before in my life, but I am going to say it. I am flabbergasted that it is working. Oh my. I've been checking the chips, and basically there's one kind of like 10 or 11 volt rail that pretty much goes to all the chips. But do you remember over this side there was a huge amount of wax? I thought to myself, I wonder what's underneath that wax. So what I did is I got my hot air station to just 100 degrees Celsius and I put it up to max airflow. That wouldn't be enough to melt any of the solder or the components, but it was quite therapeutic. I just had it at an angle like this over the blue mat, and I was just using 100 degrees, pointing down here at max airflow. And I started off here because this chip was completely buried. That one you couldn't even see, and all these resistors were hidden. And basically, bit by bit, the wax melted down to one side and got thicker and thicker and thicker, and just like a candle, it came off the end then. I only did it so I could test for voltages around that chip. That's the amount that's come off, and then I checked for voltages there and the ground on that chip, and there was some. And I thought to myself, right, okay, well, you know, just put it back together and see. And I couldn't believe it. I looked at this needle here, and the needle was over the ferrous side for the first time ever, rather than the non-ferrous. And I thought, what? I moved the tune up here, and it moved from one side to the other. It now appears to be working. That's all I've done. I've just heated it up to remove that. How could that possibly make it work? Now, obviously, the original thought was that pretty much 50% of the tracks on here have gone. But even when I did all that, it still wasn't working. It was when I melted that off. That I do not understand, unless somehow there was corrosion caught in there. Maybe a little bit of water had worked its way in. And no, but then again, you would think it would just, well, maybe no, maybe it couldn't get through the board if there was a bit of water there. But everything here looks immaculate underneath. There's no corrosion, there's no rust or anything. But that is all I have done. And now, check it out here. So, when I first of all turn it on, it does make the beep noise, and I'm not sure if it's supposed to do that. But watch this now. So let's put it to here, turn it on. You can see battery there. Now turn it to the next one. Battery there. And now turn it to that one there. I'm going to now press this button. And look, it's made its way to the middle. Yeah? So what you can do here is watch the red light come on. When you turn this way, can you see it goes over to ferrous and the red light comes on? And now if we turn the tuner clockwise, bit by bit, it goes over to non-ferrous and the green light comes on. Now, the beeping only seems to happen on non-ferrous. I'm thinking that might be because non-ferrous is really the stuff you're going to be looking for. Ferrous is just going to be kind of junk stuff. So maybe that's supposed to be like that. Or maybe this has got a fault. I don't know. But you can hear the beep comes when it goes over to the non-ferrous. There. Yep. So what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to get that in the middle. Like that. And then you're supposed to start tuning up everything else. Now, let's just see if it's going to do anything. So, I've got my thing here. So let's make it a little bit more sensitive. No, sensitivity is this one. Let me put it to TR2. Okay, so TR2's there. Press the button up here. Is it going to go in the middle? Go on, go on, go on, a bit more. There, okay. Now let's see. There you go. Look at that. So this is non-ferrous because look, have a look, magnet here, and it's not sticking to it. And now, watch. Another one would be this one here. This is also not magnetic. And look, that one really sets it off. Now this one here is magnetic, so this should go over to the ferrous side. And it does, look. Can you see the red lights coming on? I'm so happy. So now I have to do something with all these wiring, all this loose wiring at the back here. So what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to, instead of putting solder mask on it, because that will take me forever, I'm going to get a glue stick and I'm just going to basically melt hot glue all over the back of it to put it into place. And then if I still need to get to the wires again, then all I have to use is IPA and all the hot glue will just lift off. There we go, so that is the monstrosity covered in a load of glue. So hopefully that will keep those wires in place even if this gets dropped or, you know, like sort of shaken around the place. That's it, I just need to put it back together now and yeah, we'll see if it's still working once it's back together. I'm going to do all that off camera because you've seen how it came apart, so it's just the reverse of that. So here it is all back together and I must say it definitely looks the part, especially with that cable wrapped around it there. So will it work as well as it looks? I'm going to test it out now and we'll soon find out. Right, so treasure hunting time. I'm just with my son at the moment. We're just in the garden, not my garden, and he's found something around here, but it's very hit and miss, and it is coming up as non-ferrous, so the needle's going over to the left-hand side. So hopefully you'll hear it beep in a minute. There we go. There. And if you have a look, it's come up as non-ferrous and the little green light is on as well. So we're going to dig here and see what's under here. Now this is going to seem staged. You can see here, dug up. Now look in here. What do we have here? Hold on, keep it camera. Where's it gone? Look. Start putting it away. Is it a ring?
I think, yeah.
This is like the best ending to a video on the first hole that we did in the garden. Oh my god. Is it a ring?
Yeah.
Is it a Christmas cracker ring or is it a proper ring? Let's get it inside, let's clean it up. Amazing, on the very first hole that we dug in the whole garden. You've paid for yourself and you were worth all the hard work. Was it a leaf?
Yeah.
Right, let's get it fully cleaned up, see if there's any markings on the other side. Might be just a little toy. Well, I'm just going to put the camera down and have a close look at this. Well, I can't see any hallmarks on it and it's massively discoloured, and also if you look under there, can you see it actually looks rotten here. So whatever it is, it was only plated. And it looks like maybe in these holes there would have been some kind of fake jewels or something. If I was to take a guess, I would say it's just more like costume jewellery rather than anything of value. But it is still a novelty, and that is the honest truth. That's not faked. I've never seen that before. So I think what we're going to do is, that's probably going to be the best thing we're going to find, but we're going to go across the rest of the garden and see if anything else is uncovered. And in the garden that doesn't disappoint, there's something here as well, but it seems to be tiny. But it's definitely beeping around this area here. So we're going to have a little dig, see what's there. Right, unfortunately weren't so lucky this time, so nice little patch taken out there so it can be put back nice. But look, it is just what looks like old tin. Can you see there? Some sort of old tin or something. So yeah, we're just going to put that grass back and keep on searching. But amazingly, it did pick up that, which is pretty impressive because it was that deep down. So it must be doing its job. Right, under this little bush here, it's making a noise again, a nice noise this time, so we're going to dig here. Right, so we're digging deep here, and now if we put the metal detector in here, it's still going crazy as a non-ferrous. Now look in here. What is that in here? It looks like some kind of plate, but why is it coming up as non-ferrous? So what we're going to do is build... Oh, hold on, is it? No, it goes around there. I don't know what this is, but let's... I'm going to dig a bigger hole to uncover more of it. Right, we're digging. My guess is that it's some kind of like, you know, like a camping utensil made out of, I don't know, some sort of tin or something like that. There definitely looks to be a handle here, and there looks to be a lip going around here. So some sort of saucepan, I would say. But certainly interesting. Look at this. So I've never seen one before, but my dad said he reckons it's called a sconce. Never heard of that word before, for holding a candle. So look, you put your finger through here, and then the candle will go out here. Watch out, there's a bit of glass there. Oh yeah.
I get this.
Oh God, that's... I wonder whether it had some sort of glass surround, because we also pulled out this from it as well. Also pulled out that there. I wonder whether it had some sort of glass to keep... Well, you wouldn't need that, would you? Anyway, we're going to clean it up. So obviously there's some metal in here. But what a nice little find. How good is that? So we're going to clean it up and then show it to you. Now it's starting to come up real clean. So that sconce word, that might be like an old Irish word. That might not be the proper name for it. But yeah, it's definitely a candle holder. Something like, you know, Scrooge would have the candle sticking out. Look at that. It's just... This has turned out to be the best video for me. Right, and now next to the bush that you can't see because we've lost light, but there's something big down here. It's the needles really going all the way across. So there's definitely something big under this area. There we go, we've got a light on the go now. So look, we've taken out a massive chunk and it's still deep in there, so I think this is going to be another big item. Yeah, unfortunately it looks to be another type of plate thing. It's circular and you can see a bit of the white stuff there. So yeah, we're going to keep digging, get it out and see what it is. Right, it's starting to move. It's a lot bigger than we thought, and also it's thick. So yeah, it seems to be moving the ground up there as well. Not sure if it is just a bowl. Might be attached to something further up that way. Oh, here we go. Ooh.
What is that?
Oh, look at that. It's a... so it comes up here like this. It's like a big dog bowl in a way. Well, let's give it a clean and see what this one is. Right, so we're just starting to clean up the bowl, and it looks like there's some sort of writing around the edge. So this might be more interesting than the last piece. Give it a good clean, see what we end up with. So here it is, the garden haul, and what looks like a dog bowl has the maker's mark here. Yep, you can see limited at the end for a UK company. Would it be Pratt's or something? ATTS. Then it begins with a P. You can see made there, made in, but I can't make it out. It's going to be obviously England or UK. Don't quite know what it's got at the end there. But yeah, there you go. It looks like a big, massive dog bowl. This thing here was particularly interesting. If you have a look at the bottom here, again, it looks like some kind of ink mark there, and also here as well, I think. So yeah, very light. So it looks like they're some sort of, I don't know what they are, some sort of metal tin type stuff, and then it looks like they're enamelled over it because you can see like the crazing on here. So yeah, not expensive. The most interesting thing of the day for me was this ring here. I think it is just costume jewellery, but it was still just nice to see it glistening out of the mud there. And that would have to be 60 plus years old. So even though it's probably nothing, it was still interesting to see. And pulled up a little bit of pottery as well, or porcelain or something, when we were digging up these two. So what a nice end to a nice fix. Really glad to get the metal detector working. I struggled with it massively because there was so much to fix, but it's nice to see that it's done something productive at the end of it, and it's been given a new lease of life. And I can see how metal detecting would be quite addictive. If you had a big field to go through, it's a nice way to get yourself out in the fresh air and stuff, and you never know what you might find. It's quite, it is exciting. So that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe for more Trying to Fix videos. Take care, everyone.
I've heard a story, I've heard it said, I've come to believe that love is a bet. Sometimes you win and sometimes you lose, and sometimes it calls you right in the move. Come to my table.